So this is microeconomics, chapter 5 on McGraw-Hill, problem number 9. This problem is about having an externality and fixing it. So it starts out with having a certain willingness to pay, which we can think of as a demand curve. So we can think of as a demand curve for a public good. And then there is a minimum acceptable price. We can think of this as a supply curve, which is increasing, right? So at a higher and higher cost, additional units. Now, the first question is about initial equilibrium, and we can see that as the first unit, if we look at the first unit, the minimum acceptable price 3 is much lower than someone's willingness to pay 13. So this deal will go through because Bob is willing to pay 13 for a Carlos who is happy to get just 3. So the first quantity does have some surplus in it, and the transaction will happen. And so it goes. So we go down on willingness to pay and up on acceptable price up until the two even out at the same price, which happens, we compare, we're good to go up until still good to go here, but the last row 8 and 8 they match. That tells us that the equilibrium price will be 8. So all these transactions, they will go through. Notice that there are 6 of them, and the price will be, so all six transactions will go through, and the price will be, equilibrium price initially will be at $8. So equilibrium quantity will be, we can say 6. That was question A, and question B was so the first question was, had this been initial equilibrium is quantity 6. However, in part B now we're looking at what if instead of bag of oranges the data of 2 table was that of a public good, say fireworks, and all buyers would be free riders. What would be the quantity supplied? Well, if it is a free rider, then none of these guys, they would not pay. So no one will be paying for fireworks. And then Carlos, Courtney, all the folks who are supplying fireworks and expect to be paid, no one will deliver fireworks for $0, so none of the transactions will happen. And that is the idea of public good, that without some sort of intervention, market alone does not provide optimal equilibrium. Fireworks would not happen at all if everyone was expected to pay individually. Free riders, why pay? That is part B. Now let's look at part C. Assume that we're back to bags of oranges, a private good, but government has decided that tossed orange peels impose a negative externality. So not entirely implausible, but obviously this is hypothetical. So there's a negative externality on public that must be rectified by imposing a 2% tax on sellers. So we know what this, we know what happens. The supply curve, wherever it was, now it will go up by $2. Why? Because whatever was the cost of supplying, now it has bumped up by $2. So all these prices, they'll have to add plus 2. The new prices, let's get some space. The new prices will be 5, 6, everything is plus 2. Curve-wise, this is the, if this was original supply, this is the new supply. What is the new equilibrium price? Now, as we explore the same dynamic. So we go down in willingness to pay, and we go up on a new curve by acceptable price. We see that we can go down up until this 9 here, and that is when 9 matches the 9, and so it will be at this new price. Let me highlight them, 9 and 9, that new equilibrium will settle. So this new intersection, a little higher here, will be $9. That is the new price. What is a new equilibrium quantity? Well, now we've lost one transaction that we had, so now only 5 transactions will happen. The new quantity, a little less here, a new quantity will now be 5, I'm sorry, one less, 5. So new quantity will be 5. And lastly, if the new equilibrium quantity is an optimal one, so this is an optimal one, how many bags were overproduced before? Well, before it was one more, so we were over allocated by 1 unit. Okay, so here we have a typical discussion on both a perspective of a public good, but then also of an externality, in this case a negative externality, which is rectified by the government. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Good luck.